team, I hope you're all well. Today I will be doing my November TBR. I have some little cat ears on. I don't think you can see them because of the shelves, but I've just got some little cat ears on. My hair is acting up and it's doing my head in, so this was my solution. So here we are. I am going to be doing my November TBR. My hair's falling out. And I am taking part in a couple of readathons this month. I am only going to tell you today about Believathon's TBR on the basis, and a couple of other extra books that I've got on here, on the basis that Believathon runs from the 9th to the 15th, so it's a week-long readathon, and I haven't solidified my TBR for that, so that will be a case of just me posting it on Twitter like the day before maybe. So that's what I'm going to do for that one. And then similarly with Gilmore Girls readathon, I haven't decided. I really want to take part, but I will have to see how the month goes for me in November, because October has not been a good month for me reading wise, and the month's got away from me and I've ended up really stressed with my content and with reading in general. So I kind of want to pull myself back together again in November and just get my time management a bit better. I'm now doing a new course as well, so I just need to manage my time a lot better, and also I'm trying to plan for December's videos as well. So there's a lot going on, but I'm really excited about taking part in Believathon. If you don't know what Believathon is, this is a month-long, well actually it's a readathon that is hosted I think twice a year by my lovely friend Gav from How to Train Your Gavin. I'm so proud of him. And this is Believathon 3, The Mystery of the Missing Maleficarum. I think that's how you pronounce that. I'm sorry, Gav. And this is a middle grade readathon, children's and middle grade readathon, so you can read children's and middle grade books for this readathon, and I'm so hyped to it. And what I love even more about this readathon, especially this time round, is that Gav's managed to get the help of so many of children's and middle grade authors to do his announcement video, which I'll leave a link to down below. Please go and check it out. Even if you decide not to take part, just go and check it out because it's a lot of fun. And I'm just so proud of him. He's done so much for this readathon, and schools are getting involved, parents with kids are getting involved. It's just amazing and I love what he's done with it. So I'm super hyped, very excited to support my friend as well. There are 13 prompts, and the idea is that this is like a mystery, and we have a manner to sort of go through. It's a little bit like Cluedo, which is Clue in the States, and Cluedo in the UK. And yeah, I'm really excited. So there are different things that you need to collect. There's 13 items you need to collect with 13 prompts. So if you've watched Gav's readathon announcement, you will know that there was an author for each of the prompts, and I'm going to be reading their book for each of the prompts. So let's go through my TBR so I can explain this to you a bit more. So the first one, we're going to be going through the compendium step by step. So the first one is to get the key, and for this one you need to read a mystery. So this one was Robin Stevens, who is the author of a bunch of books, but for this one I'm going to be reading Murder Most Unladylike, which is the first in a series, I believe. I have not read this series, and I obviously have not read this book, and I'm really excited to do so. The edges are beautiful. I have heard mixed things about this one, but I'm looking forward to it nonetheless to see what it's like, and I am hoping I really enjoy this one. I don't know much about this. I think this is following a couple of young girls who are in a school. Daisy Wells and Hazel Wong set up a secret detective agency at Deep Dean School for Girls. They struggle to find any real crimes to investigate. Then Hazel discovers the body of Miss Bell, and when she and Daisy return 5 minutes later, the body has disappeared. Not only do they have the murder to solve, they must prove one happened in the first place. So it sounds really good to me, but we'll see what happens with this one. I'm really excited. So yeah, that's the first book on my TBR. So the next prompt is to get the fingerprints, and to get this one you need to read a book by an author of a different culture than you, and this one was Roshni Chokshi's prompt. So I'm going going to be reading her book Arusha and the End of Time. I do not own this. I will be reading it on Scribd on my Kindle. So I'll show a picture of it here. I don't know anything about this, but I've seen it around a lot recently, and I know that a lot of people have really enjoyed this one. So I'm really excited to read it. It's the first in the series, and I cannot wait to pick this one up. I don't know a lot about a lot of these books, to be honest, so just, you know, bear with me. So the third thing you need to collect is the Scream, and to collect the Scream you must listen to an audiobook or read a book out loud. And for this one, the author was Vashti Hardy, which is perfect because I'm going to be reading the second in her The Brightstorm Adventures series, and which is Dark Whispers. I'll show a picture of it here. I don't own the book. I loved Brightstorm when I read it for the last Believathon round, which was earlier on this year. I think that's when I read it. I'm fairly certain I did because I know Jade read it then as well. So I'll be reading Dark Whispers, and I am getting this from my library on audio. So this one is perfect for this. I'm really excited. I completely forgot that that was the prompt for this one, but I'm really excited I've managed to make it work. So yeah, looking forward to this one. This is following two young kids who are siblings, brother and sister, and their parents went on an expedition and they never came back, and basically there were reports that everybody in the expedition died, and the kids want to find out what really happened, and they managed to go in a, it's like an air balloon. I don't know how to explain it. You'll see a picture of it on the cover. And they went in that to go and find out what was going on, but it turns out not all is as it seems. So I'm really excited to continue on with this and find out what's happened to their parents. And yeah, I'm hyped. So the next one is to get the torn page, and in order to find the torn page you must read a book with a supernatural element. So I'm going to be reading A Sprinkle of Sorcery, which is the second book in the Widdershins Adventures series. I'll show a picture of it here because again I don't own a physical copy of it. The first one in this series was A Pinch of Magic, and I'm now going to be reading A Sprinkle of Sorcery. I think I gave A Pinch of Magic 3.5 stars. I wasn't blown away by it. I know a lot of people were, but I wasn't as blown away by it as I hoped I would be. Again, I will be listening to this on audio from Scribd. This is following three sisters, Betty, Fliss and Charlie, and they have grown up knowing that there is a curse on their family and they cannot leave the island that they live on. And in the first one they are trying to break the curse, and then the second one follows on straight from that. I don't want to spoil it for you, so I won't tell you what happens because one, I don't fully know, and two, I don't want to spoil anything for you because it follows straight on, I think, from the first one. But I'm looking forward to continuing on with that series. The next prompt is to get the crown, and in order to get this one you must read a book that's set in an alternate universe than your own, and the author for this one was Somon Chanani. I think that's how you pronounce his name, but I'm not sure. And he has done the School for Good and Evil series, so I will be reading the first one, which is the School for Good and Evil, and I'm really excited about this one. I've heard such good things about it. I know it's a longer middle grade than usual, but I'm really looking forward to it. I don't know of the full ins and outs. I don't know anything about this series, to be perfectly honest, obviously, other than the fact that it's set in a school, and I'm fairly certain it's an alternate universe and there might be angels and demons. I'm not sure fully what's going on with it, but I'm really excited about it and I love the cover and I cannot wait to pick this one up. I've heard incredible things. The next prompt is to get the spilled ink, and in order to get this one you need to read a book that features ghosts, and the author for this one was Laura Ellen Anderson, and her book series is the Amelia Fang series. I have already read the first one, which is Amelia Fang and the Barbaric Ball, and for this one I'm going to be picking up Amelia Fang and the Unicorn Lords. I can't remember, it was ages ago since I read Amelia Fang and I don't own the book, but I can't remember, I love the sprayed edges of this, if this features ghosts in general or not. So if it doesn't, it's quite short. If it doesn't, I will then pick up Potkin and Stubbs, the second one, which is The Haunting of Pelican City. So that's my plan. If this doesn't have a ghost in it, I will then pick up Potkin and Stubbs too, but if it does, I don't need to pick up Potkin and Stubbs. I mean, I might try and fit it in anyway if I can do, because I've really enjoyed the first one. But otherwise, my aim is to read Amelia Fang and the Unicorn Lords. Obviously, this is featuring a young girl called Amelia Fang, who is a vampire, and she lives in this world where there are monsters around and all sorts, and it's just really, really good. She's got like a cute little pumpkin as a pet, and I just love it. It's so good. So I'm really excited excited about picking this one up and continuing on with the series. I just love the illustrations as well. It's one of the main things that I love about middle grade books are the illustrations. They're just beautiful. Look at that unicorn singing. So excited. So that's my plan, and obviously if it doesn't have a ghost in it, I will then pick up Potkin and Stubbs book 2 because I loved the first one. So the next thing we need to get is a dagger, and in order to get this one you need to read a book that's set in a dangerous setting, and the author for this one was in fact Jamie Littler. So for this one I am going to be reading Frost Heart Escape from Aurora, which is the second in the Frost Heart series, and I'm so excited about reading this one. This is the Waterstones edition, and I have already got a part way through this. I'm 41 pages into this because I got the book just before it came out when it was officially released. I managed to get it a week early because it was already out in Waterstones, and I went for a trip into town to see if they had it. So I started reading it on the basis that I wanted to read and review it before it came out, but then the Believathon announcement was released and I decided that I wanted to read books by each of the authors, so I held off and now cannot wait to pick this one up. I'm so excited about it. I love Frost Heart. I love the illustrations. Jamie's done all of this himself because he is an illustrator, but he's now also an author. And Frost Heart is following a young boy called Ash, whose parents again have gone missing on an expedition, and he wants to find out what's happened to them. He's sort of like trapped in this town and he doesn't like it. There is a yeti that keeps his eye on him and looks after him because he's always getting himself in trouble. And then one day this ship called the Frost Heart comes in to bring some supplies from the main towns, and Ash manages to talk his way onto the boat so that he can try and find out what's happening to his parents. And yeah, the story just carries on from there basically, so I'm really excited about it. Can't wait to carry on with this one. Love it so much. It's so good. Next is the backpack, and in order to get the backpack you need to read a new to you author, and the author for this one was Elle Nicole. Sorry, Elle. And she has just released her first book, her debut book, and it's called A Kind of Spark, and I'm really looking forward to this one. I think this is going to be a bit more of a deeper middle grade than some of the others. The others are a bit more fun, but I think this one is following a young girl called Addie who knows exactly who she is. Addie knows the sharks are more interesting than dolphins. She knows her favourite words in the thesaurus, and she knows that her older sisters are opposites. When Addie learns about the witch trials that happened in her hometown, she knows that there is more to the story of these witches, just like there is more to her. As Addie tries to get her small town to make a memorial for the witches, can she challenge the way they see her? A Kind of Spark is a story about courage, friendship, and what it means to be different. And I'm really looking forward to this one. It sounds so good, and it's short, and obviously Elle is new to me author because this is her debut novel. I've never read anything from her before, so very excited about this one. The next prompt is to get the footprints, and in order to get this one you need to read a book with a prominent villain, and the author for this one was Jessica Townsend. And so for this one I am going to be reading Hollow Pox by Jessica Townsend, which is the third in the Morrigan Crow series. This is The Hunt for Morrigan Crow. It's been a while since I've read Nevermore and Wondersmith. I read them like earlier on last year I think it was, and I can't remember who the bad person is in this, but I'm fairly certain there is a bad guy in it, a villain in it. So yeah, we're just going to assume that that's the case. If it's not, I've no doubt one of the other books will fit, but at least I'll have read this for part of it anyway. I'm really excited about reading this. This is the Waterstones special edition with the signed page as well that says Burn Brightly, and underneath the dust jacket is absolutely beautiful. I just have to show you this because it's so gorgeous. How beautiful is this? So yeah, I'm really excited about this one. Nevermore starts off following, which is the first in the series, following a young girl called Morrigan Crow who's not far off her 12th birthday, and she is deemed to be cursed. Basically everything that goes wrong in the vicinity of her is her fault. Her dad blames her for it, her stepmom blames her for it, the whole town blames her for it, and the idea is that on her 12th birthday, because she's cursed, she will die. So just before her 12th birthday, a man called Jupiter North comes in and basically sweeps Morrigan Crow away from her family and saves her life, and takes her to the place of Nevermore, where there are these trials that go on. She needs to have like a special gift basically where she can do something, take part in these trials and hopefully win. And yeah, they are trials a little bit like don't want to say the Hunger Games because it's not, but it's trials a little bit like that. So yeah, it's really, really good. It turns out that Morrigan is not cursed, she's got magic, and it's just such a good series. I really enjoy it. I love Jupiter North, and Morrigan's great. She's so sassy. She's never let it get her down. That, well, it has gotten her down, but she's never let it get her down to the point that she becomes like a quiet mouse, that everyone thinks that she's cursed and she's going to die when she's 12. It's never stopped her from living. She's just so good, and I love her so much. So I'm really excited to continue on with this series and read Hollowpox. The next one is to get the hand mirror, and in order to get this one you need to read a book with a beautiful cover. So obviously this is just your opinion of a beautiful cover, and the author for this one was Sophie Anderson. So on that basis I have read Sophie's other two books, which is The Girl Who Speaks Bear and The House with Chicken Legs, and for this one I will be reading her new release, which is The Castle of Tangled Magic. I'm so excited for this one. This is following a young girl, 13-year-old Olaya. She steps through a magical doorway and discovers another land, a land tangled by magic where hope is lost and scheming wizards hold all the power. Soon, Aaliyah learns that she is destined to save this land, but with time running out and her new friends and family in danger, she must search for the magic within herself to save everything and everyone she loves. It sounds so cute. Oh, there's a big illustration there. It sounds so cute, and I'm so excited. I love Sophie's writing style. It's so just whimsical and just takes you to a completely different land. I really, really enjoy her writing style, so I'm really excited about picking this one up. Again, I managed to get this quite early on from Waterstones. I got this like a week before it came out, and I've been waiting ever since then to pick this one up, so I'm very excited to finally do so. So next is the chain, and in order to break yourself free and get a piece of the chain you need to read a book with a colourful cast of characters, and the author for this one was Anna James, and she has done the Pages and Co series. So I'm going to read the first in that series, which is Tilly and the Book Wanderers. I think fairly certain there's a colourful cast of characters in that series. I don't know a great deal about this. I think it's got something to do with Tilly working in her grandparents' bookshop, and then something happens. I'm not sure what, but just the idea that she works in a grandparent's bookshop is so cool. I am here for it. It sounds amazing. I don't own the book for this, but the books are gorgeous and I really want to get myself a copy of them. But I'm going to be listening to this on audio, and I'm here for it. I'm so excited. It sounds really good. Next is A Flash of Lightning, and to get this you need to read a book that incorporates folklore. So for this one the author was Thomas Taylor, and he did the book called Malamander, and the next one in the series is Gargantus, so I will be reading this one. I am literally here for this. Look, also there is literally lightning on the cover, as if I'm not going to pick this one up. I am so excited about this one. This is following two kids called Herbie and Violet, and they live in a place called Erie-on-Sea. And basically in the first one, I think Violet had lost something. She'd lost something. I can't remember what happened in the first one, but basically Herbie works in the Lost and Found at this hotel, and Violet ended up coming into his room one night. She was trying to escape someone and something was going down. There is a folklore side of this as well to do with Erie-on-Sea. I can't fully remember what happened, but it was so good. It was such a good adventure, and I've heard nothing but amazing things about this one, so I'm really hyped to pick this one up. Ooh, is that a little map then? Oh, look at that. So yeah, I'm really excited. I've just cracked the spine. I'm really excited. I cannot wait to pick this one up. This is one of my most anticipated books of the year, to be perfectly honest. So yeah, I'm really hyped for this one, and I cannot wait to finally pick this one up. I'm obsessed with the cover for it as well, and the covers, they both look so good together, Malamander and in Gargantus. The final prompt is The Shadow, and in order to get this one you need to get a book that was first published in 2020, and the author for this one is Rena Barron, who usually I think does YA fantasy, but she's got very recently just come out a book called Maya and the Rising Dark. I thought that said star then. Maya and the Rising Dark. I'll show a picture of it here, and I am so here for this. I'm going to be reading this on audio. I don't own a physical copy of it yet, but I'm going to be reading it on audio, and I'm really excited. I know literally nothing about this book, and I'm living for it. I don't mind going into books not really knowing anything, to be honest. If I know the bare basics of it, that's fine by me. I'm so happy about that. So yeah, those are the 13 middle grade books that I will be reading for Believathon, and I'm really really excited. I can't wait. Honestly, I think since I've known about the Believathon announcement, all I've wanted to do is just cancel my October TBR and get straight into Believathon. I am living for it. So yeah, very excited about that lot. And then a couple of books that I'm going to mention are buddy reads or book club reads. So I'm just going to mention these very, very quickly. I have a Fable by Adrian Young. This is the Farrelou edition that came in September's box. And I want to read this along. I think the buddy read starts on November 2nd, if I'm correct in saying that. And I want to follow along with that if I can do so, because I really want to read this. My friend Laura from Bookie Mama Bear on Instagram has told me that she thinks I'm going to love this, so I'm really excited to pick this one up, and it's not that long, so I really want to pick this one up. Then my book club pick for Contemporary Book Club, which is my book club. If you want to know more information on that, I will leave the Twitter and Instagram down below. We do have a Discord channel, but you do have to message me to get access to that. So I will leave a link down below to the Twitter and Instagram for Contemporary Book Club, but the book club pick for that is Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine by Gail Honeyman. I obviously have not read this one yet, and I'm looking forward to doing so. I've heard amazing things. I don't know what it is about this book, why I keep putting it off. I think maybe because it's chunky, I don't know, but I've heard amazing things about this one. I know almost nothing about it other than I think there's quite a bit of mental health rep in this, but it's got a Book of the Year sticker on it, so I've heard great things. So yeah, looking forward to picking that one up. Then my lovely friend Maddie from Book Browsing Blog, I will leave a link to her down below. I'll leave a link to everybody that I've mentioned down below, is hosting a readathon for the next 3 months for the Daughter of Smoke and Bone trilogy. So starting in November with Daughter of Smoke and Bone and the subsequent 2 books in December and January, and I'm really looking forward to it. I haven't read this series before. This is by Laini Taylor. I have read the Strange the Dreamer series. I wasn't a massive fan. I think I gave Strange 4 stars and Muse 3. I wasn't overly fussed by it. The flowery writing got to me, to be honest. I just kept going with it because I know that a lot of people really love that series, and I just kept going with it and pushed with it, and overall it wasn't what I thought it was going to be. I think that was the thing with it. So I am looking forward to this one, but I'm a bit nervous about the writing style. Maddie has said that she thinks that I will enjoy this one a little bit more, possibly, from what I've told her. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I just love how floppy these books are. I know nothing about this. I think it's following a young girl who basically she has to keep Kairu, is that how you say her name, has to manage to keep her 2 lives in balance. On the one hand, she's a 17-year-old art student in Prague. On the other, an errand girl to a monstrous creature who is the closest thing she has to family. So I don't know where this is going to take her, but obviously she's trying to be a normal, mundane person while also sort of dabbling in the fantasy element side of the world as well. So yeah, excited for this one. And then Meg from Meg with Books is hosting a read along for the next 3 months again for the Bear and the Nightingale series by Catherine Arden, reading this one in November with the subsequent 2 books in December and January. This is perfect for me because I did a try a chapter tag that's so hard to say, try a chapter tag earlier on in the year with this, and I really wanted to keep it, and then I started reading this in September. I made the decision to put it down. I got to page 37, decided to put it down on the basis that I think this book needs for me to take my time with it rather than try and rush through it, which I was trying to do for a readathon. So I really want to take my time with this, and then Meg said that she was and made the announcement. I'll leave a link to it down below if you want to go and check it out. Made an announcement for the readathon, and I'm just so excited now that I get to read this. There's going to be a live show and I get to do it with loads of other people. Again, I've been nervous about this, worried that there might be flowery writing, but I'm really looking forward to it. This is like Russian folklore type book and I'm here for it. I'm sorry about the lighting. It is increasingly darker as the day goes on because it's going to chuck it down. I think it's going to be beautiful. I just hope there isn't flowery writing. I think there is a bit, by the looks of things, there is a certain amount of flowery that I can deal with, probably more lyrical than flowery, because of Addie LaRue, I've noticed that, but too flowery, like the night circus and the starless sea really gets me, and I just can't deal with it. So I'm hoping this is not the case, but again, another extremely floppy book, and I am living for this readathon. And then finally I have The Court of Miracles by Kester Grant. Yes, this is an arc. No, I didn't get to it. Yes, I'm mad about it. I'm really annoyed about it, but I'm buddy reading this with Catherine in the month of November, and I'm really excited to finally get to this because I've heard really good things about it, and I'm so mad at myself for not getting to this arc before it came out. So yeah, looking forward to picking this one up. Don't know a great deal about it. The revolution has failed. Paris is a dark and lawless place. To protect themselves, the city's wretched have gathered into guilds of thieves, smugglers, assassins, and worse. Together they form the Miracle Court. When Nina's sister is stolen by one of their cruelest lords, she joins the Thieves Guild to get her back, and there she learns that even the wretched have rules. She'll break every one of those rules to get her sister back, even if it tears the Miracle Court apart. The intrigue of Six of Crows, the heart of Caraval, the drama of Les Mis, the beginning of a dazzling new trilogy. Well, I love Six of Crows. I did not like Caraval, and I haven't read Les Mis, but I really enjoy the movie. So we'll see how this goes, but I am really excited about this one. So yeah, very here for this one as well. So that is my TBR for the month of November. Obviously, as I've mentioned, also Believathon and Gilmore Girls Readathon, but I will do separate TBRs for those. Probably just post them on Twitter, possibly Instagram as well. Told you the rain was coming. It's a storm coming. So my apologies for the fact that you can now hear that. So yeah, I am really hyped for November. This happens to me every month. I do my TBR, and then I'm really excited about the books that I'm going to be reading, and then halfway through the month I'm like, I just want to read next month's books, and I don't know why this keeps happening to me. Does this happen to anybody else? Let me know in the comments down below. If you've read any of these, let me know in the comments down below. If I've got any of those middle grade books wrong with the prompts, let me know in the comments down below so that obviously I can adjust. But I would still like to read the books by the authors anyway. I will just end up adding books to my TBR if that's not the case. And for any that do crop up while reading them that they don't fit the prompt, again, I will just add a book to the TBR, or one of the other books might fit the prompt as well. I don't know, but I'll just add to it otherwise. Just one other book that I might want to get to in the month of November is a middle grade, but it is The Wizards of Once by Cressida Cowell. This is the Waterstones exclusive edition that is signed, but I think I might want to get to this one as well because I really want to finish this series off, and I've had this now for a while and I have an e-arc of it as well, so I do need to review it. I just never got round to, basically I stopped reading it. If you've been here for a while, you will know that I stopped reading this on the e-arc because it didn't have the illustrations in it, and I live for illustrations in middle grade books. So usually when I'm listening on audio, if I own the book, I tend to sit and follow with the book because I just love the illustrations. They make the book. So yeah, if I can fit this in, I will do, but we'll see what happens. There are a bunch of other books I would really like to read, but I'm not going to mention them because if I get to them, great. If I don't, at least I've not mentioned it on here and got your guys' hopes up that I will end up reviewing them at the end of the month. So that's my TBR for November. I am super hyped. Please leave me a, what should I ask you for? Oh, leave me a, what do they call this? A magnifying glass. I'll show a picture over here. A magnifying glass in the comments down below if you got to the end of this video, because we're on a mission. So I will see you all in the next video. Bye for now.